Welcome to the Home of Misfits podcast, where normal is optional, masks are unnecessary, and you belong.
Now just
Well,
make sure
hello,
my
fellow Misfits, to another episode of Home of the Misfits. And today, I'm so excited. I have my son with me today. And I'm totally biased, but he is so awesome and he does so many amazing things. And his name is Tim. So, anyway, why don't you introduce yourself, Tim? Who you are, what
yeah,
you do,
thanks
and
so
how
much. Yeah, hi. My name's Tim. You might know my last name, Man.
Oh,
Um,
man.
but yeah, I do. So I work in my day job for the state government of Colorado in the Office of Emergency Management. As a whole community inclusion planning specialist. And essentially, I help work with emergency management engaged organizations across Colorado to help make communities a little more prepared, resilient, and have a better understanding of how to actually talk between government and private and public groups and organizations so that there's a better understanding of the actual resource availability, capacity, and what the gaps are in there, and getting those conversations started so that they can actually meet the needs of their community. So that's my day to day. But then I also do a
This is
lot
what pays the
of
bills.
exactly. But pretty soon we might have other stuff paying the bills.
Oh, I'm so excited for
Um,
you.
so my friends and I work as essentially stage production primarily, but we do a lot of content creation. And we've been doing this now for, oh shoot, how long is it now? About 4 years or so.
It's been a minute or 10.
Yeah, it's been a little while. So for right around 4+ years, my friends and I have been building this electronic dance music, primarily content creation platform, in which we bring on local DJs and we have a light and stage show production. That way we can really do it ourselves. But it's turned into something so much more, and we're really excited about where our future's going because we finally have an actual venue that wants our work and our expertise in building their stage production. So we're in the process of getting that rolling, and I can tell you it is great.
I love it. I'm so happy. And you know what? I mean, this is just the first one,
Exactly.
and I loved watching that whole thing evolve from first an idea and then now it's like, oh wow, buckle up, people.
Yeah, no joke. I'm so excited too because just as a fun little sneak peek, we've managed to start programming the lights for this venue, and we were able to uh, talk to the guy who hired us and was like, "Hey, listen, here's why you spent all that money," and was sold within 5 minutes, if that.
Nice.
Saw just a few scenes and it's in the most basic form and he's like, yes, that's how we go. So it's really cool how it's all going to come together.
No, I absolutely love it. So tell us a little bit more about your company there. I love the name of it, but I'll let you tell people about it.
Yeah, thanks. So we started SpaceFarm Media, and it's more of the growing of the umbrella. Because we started as just Space Farm, our Space Farm music, which, if you want to find us on Instagram, spacefarm.music.
Well, there you
Um,
go.
but it really started when my friends and I were just mixing music. We just wanted to play music. We thought, hey, this is pretty fun. Let's get a laser. That way, we get to have even more fun. And within about a week or so of just having fun mixing music together, we're looking at all of this happening in this little bedroom, maybe 10 by 10 feet, super small. But my buddy and I just are looking at it all happen. We're like, so we should probably stream this because this looks awesome. And very rapidly over that summer, we started putting together, getting all the equipment, making sure we knew what we needed for a stream. How do we actually run that? And then we needed more lights. And then with more lights requires a little more control. So we had started learning this, what's called DMX. Uh, and it is the language of lights, essentially. How do light fixtures get control, and how do you actually make them do what you want to do? How do you get a stage show to look as good and crisp and clean as it does? And then we figured it out over the course of about 2 years plus, just constant learning. But in that time, we managed to host over 40, 50 shows through our stream, most of them having about 3 different DJs. And we really made it a point to try and highlight the more underground, more rookie, or just brand new to the scene kind of DJs who really just want to get their feet wet, because we're all about creators and being creator first. And we really want every creative person, excuse me, to be able to hopefully bring their talent and at least find an audience, because we've all got tons of talent, whether it's in music, in visual art, or even just admin work. Shout out to our spreadsheet lovers and the people who are able to keep the rest of us in line, because without those spreadsheet magics, there's no way we get any of this done.
Right, the
But
sheer chaos, yes.
right, right. I mean, we'll get stuff done, but we're not going to know how we did it. And then if we go to replicate it, it's going to take us probably about the same amount of time.
Well, plus, I
But
mean, spreadsheets, I mean, I'm not a fan of them, but they help, for me at least, keep my squirrels under control.
or at least you know where the squirrels are.
Oh, yeah, there's that. There's that. They
uh,
still end up having babies somehow. It's weird. But anyway,
yeah, I mean, good ideas. They keep coming. But
I
yeah,
know.
so over the course of about 2, 3 years, we really grew this bedroom electronic music venue. And if you want to check out some of our clips, we do have those sitting on our Instagram. Again, that's spacefarm.music. But I think we might still have some of our clips from some of the shows we run on our Twitch channel, which is just Space Farm Music, for that DJ realm. And then, yeah, in the last couple months, we've really said we need to grow beyond this. Otherwise, we're pigeonholing ourselves too much. So that's when we started pushing our brand into, well, let's make it media. And media covers way more than just like productions even.
Right.
So now that we're all official, we can really start diving into whichever little project we want to do.
I love that. Yeah. And I'm just like, so if people want to hire you for their venues, how can they reach you? Let's just toss that in real quick.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to hire us for lighting, you can reach us at through our email, spacefarmmusic@gmail.com. Eventually, we might be changing it, but for right now, spacefarmmusic@gmail is the way to reach us for any actual inquiries for hiring us.
Love
If
that.
you have lighting going on and you want to get some DMX control going.
Nice. I love that. So the other thing you do and that you're heavily involved with is D&D.
Yes, Dungeons and Dragons.
I know.
Love a
That's
good
like,
tabletop video game.
tell us a little about that. How did that start and how did that evolve? And where do you see that going?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, really, it started at this point now over 10 years ago. It was shortly after I had moved back to Colorado and I had met my now business partner, Jake, and we were working at Starbucks and we just started hanging out. And then one day I brought it up because I'm a huge nerd and was like, hey, we should maybe try playing some Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see if we can get some folks. And over a few weeks, we eventually did have a table of people that we played our first campaign through for a little over a year. And it just bred this intense love of being able to sit at a table with your friends and imagining wild scenarios and finding out how your character is going to respond. And from there, we had taken a few years of a break from Dungeons and Dragons. We really focused in on electronic music. But in the last year and a half now, we really decided, hey, we need to get back into this. We're itching for some tabletop character role play. So we started up a campaign, and we're still ongoing in that campaign over 40 sessions later, each one about 3 hours minimum, some of them going up to like 6 or 8 hours.
Wow, that's commitment.
Yeah, yeah. But it's really cool being able to see this group of people that I've just come to know and love really open up into a character. And I think one of the best parts about Dungeons and Dragons is seeing the brain at a table work and watching a party of people actively try to figure out while they're in this character in some fantasy world, well, how is this person going to react with everything I know about this person? What are they going to do? And it stops being entirely a game, and it starts becoming this character exploration, and it really allows for the people at the table to actually see, well, how would this play out? How if my character is experiencing this intense big feeling, trademarked, if I've got this big feeling, how is this character going to handle that? Whether that might be betrayal, extreme anger or rage, maybe it's an incredible sadness at one of their characters, non-player characters, or one of their attachments, seeing them die or seeing them in danger. How does that character start to respond? And it's always that little bit of player response as well as character response, and you start to see kind of this blend happen. And then as the dungeon master or game master, whoever's running the show and kind of feeding the world to the players, there's no better feeling than sitting there for 20 plus minutes while they act out a scene and they are just in it, because that's when you know that the world is alive, the characters are alive, and now that full exploration can really start pushing forward.
No, I love that. And I love the fact that it's like, I mean, it's like, every time you come over, you tell me about what's going on and everything. And it's like, what I love is it's like D&D to me seems like it's like open to the normal people, the neurodivergent people, and everybody can just has their own niche in there without feeling misplaced, without feeling they don't fit, and it's just like it's like to me it seems like because misfits, it's like you can come together in D&D and like fully like let loose. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And all it takes is a little bit of suspension of disbelief. You just got to say, all right, yeah, I'm this weird devil-born person who can cast magic, but you're still so human in that, yeah, that little thing that this character does makes me unreasonably angry.
Yeah.
And I think you capture it so well in it is open to absolutely anybody, because the best tables will have that pre-session sit down, or what's called a session zero, and really going through, okay, what do I want from my character? The game master will kind of share what their goals are for the story, how they want to see the world play out, kind of some big themes that they're looking to touch on. And then the players will work with the dungeon master and with each other to actually design a character that fits within that narrative, to the degree that, yeah, you are this character and there is a reason for you to be in this story, rather than, oh, I've got my dude and I'm a loner and I don't like working together. It's like, that's cool. Well, then that character isn't going to have a reason to be with this party. So come back with a character that has a reason to be with this party.
No, I
So
love
everybody
that.
starts out with that shared goal, and it doesn't matter what it is you want to play, how you want to play. There's any number of ways to do it.
I love that. So if you're live right now, we're a D&D character. What class would you be, and what's your current quest?
It's actually a surprisingly hard question, not just because there are so many classes, but there are so many good classes that fit pretty much anything. But I think if I were to pick one, it would probably be a wizard. It's classic, old but gold, because wizards just, they have their little book. They're trying to learn their little spells, and they know a lot of spells as they grow their career. They
I
tend
can
not
still
to.
see that. Oh my gosh, I can still see that.
Well, it's funny because in a lot of the circles I'm in, I'm Wizard Tim as
Oh,
the marker for like, oh, that's how we refer to him because that's how we know that's that Tim. But wizards, I think, are just so fun because they have this archaic knowledge about them, but they're
hmm
also the most chronic ADHD type of class in my mind, just because of how they work mechanically. Like I said, they have their spell book. The only way they learn it is they have to collect spells and write them in their book and study them, and they have to learn about it. But then they can only have so many spells ready in a day. So it's like, oh, I know all this stuff. I have all these special interests. Oh, I have to pick between them every single day. And some special interests are going to fall off just because I don't have space to focus on them. I only have so much time in a day.
right.
But man, when a wizard locks in, they do insane wonders.
Nice. And you do so many amazing things, you know. It's like so you've always marched to the rhythm of your own drum, so to speak. When did you first realize you didn't quite fit the normal mold, and how did that feel at the time? Do you remember?
Not a specific moment, because I think I always felt different and felt off compared to like a
Hey, you're my kid.
neurotypical
Hello.
experience. Exactly. But no, it's really interesting just because I can't point to a single moment where I realized I was different, because that feeling's kind of always been there and still is. However, now I feel like I'm better able to navigate that feeling. Both having language for like what that feeling actually is, where it's coming from, things I can do in my toolkit that can help mitigate that otherness.
hmm
But I think if I were to really go in and I, for me, I think the better point is, when did I realize that marching to my own rhythm was okay, even? Because I think one of the big things is that we all march to our own rhythm. Some of us are offbeat by the tiniest bit, so it's like, but okay, yeah, no, we're good. But then there are some who are like, bah, 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 who are not in tune at all to what's going on around them. And then there are some who can't help but always get on time with the person, with another person's beat.
hmm
So I think it's really important to think about not necessarily how you don't fit in, but how your beat plays off of other beats. And it's important to find people that maybe don't beat the same, but beat in a very harmonic or like whole type of music. Orchestral, whatever
Right.
instrument you are, however it is you fit into the symphony that we get to play in. It's
hmm
important to find people that are either harmonizing with you, they are playing counter melodies where you have your melody and then they have their own thing, but they play together perfectly. Having one person just on that big 1, 2, 3, 4 bass kick, that super steady person, and then you have your hyper squirrel just hitting every ding dang little percussive element that you can think of and picture on the super massive kit, and they're just hitting everything all the time, but they're never hitting that basic kick.
Right.
So
No, I love it.
that helps a lot. And I think for me, it was really in my early 20s when I started to get that sense of, oh yeah, everybody is different, and in that we're all the same. So if I just
hmm
focus on myself and how I can bring what I have and whatever it is that's trying to use me as a vehicle for the art, creativity, or whatever, just let that happen, and then the people will help fill in my symphony, so to
No, I
speak.
love that. I love that. So how has being someone who thinks a little different helped you in both your creative work and your state job? Or in life
Oh.
in general? I mean, since we're at it, you know.
Right. The big questions. Um, yeah, I honestly, I think for me and my particular flavor of neurodivergence, it's really helped me both zoom out enough to see the big picture when I need to.
Hmm.
But I think my greater strength really comes from my ability to really hyper focus and dive super far into the details and then start making a picture out of what details I see. It's this concept called bottom up processing versus top down. And so most of us, when we think of like, okay, we need to break this thing down. Here's the picture. All right, let's break it into parts, break it into smaller parts, break it into smaller
Right,
parts.
right.
My problem is I start with seeing all the smaller parts, and I have to work a little harder in order to see, like, I have to genuinely work to zoom out and see that full picture. At the same time, I tend to get to a more, what I feel is a more complete whole picture, because I'm starting with all of the smaller parts. I'm starting with this
Hmm.
smaller data. And what's helped me a lot in that kind of processing is taking smaller chunks, taking some of those smaller bits of information, data, however it is I'm trying to build or process something,
Hmm.
and just kind of chunking them and learning when I can say, okay, that's good enough. Because if I stay at that level, I can stay at that fine detail level forever, tweaking until I think it's perfect. The problem is perfect doesn't happen. So you have to
Right.
be able to recognize, okay, good enough, move on to the next chunk, move on to the next chunk. Then you can start piecing those chunks together. But because you've already worked in those super small details, you kind of already have that feeling for how adjustments at that smaller level is
Hmm.
going to impact the larger picture, and kind of start making those chunks fit together better until you
Right.
get that whole picture.
No, absolutely. So, I'm sure some of our listeners, they might have that they might recognize themselves in what you just told us about, like starting small and not being able to see the big picture. It's like, what works for you to pull yourself out and to look at this picture? What tips do you have for our listeners or viewers, so they can, like a tool or something? I mean, I don't know, because I'm a big picture person. I was like, "Whoa, this is where I'm going," and it's like we'll figure out the rest.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like the total opposite.
Yeah, I don't know where I got it from.
Oh, I have a
No,
few ideas, but anyway.
no, but so yeah, I think what really helps me and what has helped me is one, having a number of mentors in my life who do think really well in that top down processing, going from big picture to smaller details. But as far as like tangible tools that really help me is, as awful as it is to have to say it, because I know we all hate these timers, calendars, setting up blocks of time of like, okay, I need to work on this thing
Hmm.
ahead of time. I need to know, what do I actually need my end state of this work time to be, or whatever time. If it's productivity time, if it's I'm just trying to have fun, if it's I need to go run errands, cleaning house, or whatever it is. What is a good enough place for me to get to where I
Hmm.
could, excuse me, look back and say, yes, I accomplished at least 70% of what I wanted to get done. Because 70% are C's, and remember, C's get degrees. Um, so it's understanding before you dive in, how much time do I really have? And time is one of our biggest weaknesses. Those of us in any form of neurodivergence, we don't fully wrap around time, because
Time sucks.
it,
Let's just
it
call it what it is.
exactly, it's hard for us to like stay temporally present, um,
Right.
which just a fun little throwback, is also part of why I would choose a wizard. Just because I'm never late nor early. I arrive
There,
precisely when I mean to.
there you go. I
Um,
love that. I love that.
but
Absolutely.
uh, but yeah, it's really knowing ahead of time what is good enough for me to continue moving forward. And then having an understanding of how much time does it take me to do this,
Hmm.
that, or the other task. Depending on my brain space, it might be 6 hours one day, and depending on another day, I might be working in that hyper efficient, neurodivergent spice that we all know and love, where I can get a day's worth of work done in an hour.
Yep.
The problem is, how do I know when I'm going to get one or the other? Um,
Surprise.
exactly. We don't, which is why we need to have those tools and being able to walk into any kind of task we're trying to do, whether it's personal, professional, or even just silly productivity, like, oh, I want to go paint some minifigurines. It's being able to really recognize, well, how much time do I really have? Do I need to learn how to get started? How much time does it take me to learn to do
Right.
stuff? And it's just having that realistic conversation with yourself and
Hmm.
really getting a sense of who you are as a person, how your brain works. Because what works for me isn't going to work for you. I know it. That's how it works, especially you and I, because we have very different brain paths in terms of how we think. But we can both get to an end state as long because we both know this is how my brain works and I
Right.
know the tools that I need. So a lot of it is really just time, taking time with yourself,
Hmm.
really thinking about how you think, which
Right. And it's like that
sounds
that power of awareness, being present in the
Mhm.
moment and like, oh, what's happening, taking that inventory in your mind, with your ego, checking in with your ego, checking in with your heart, checking in with your gut, all of those things, I mean, at least they help me.
Yeah, absolutely. Awareness is the name of the game. If we're if if we're trying to understand and learn how to do stuff, it all starts with awareness. I mean, the world famous quote, I think, therefore I am. If we're not thinking, then we aren't. So we should always be thinking about
Right,
something. And
right.
I think thinking about how we think, whether it's me thinking about how I think as an individual, or even really looking at how others think and trying to get what those kind of patterns are. Which, for all of my wonderful folks on the spectrum, I cannot tell you how much easier my life has gotten after thinking about social stuff in terms of behavioral patterns. And if you just look at people, and hopefully you can talk to a lot of people, or at least have the opportunity for it, you start to see those patterns, and then
Hmm.
you can steal them for yourself.
Well, you pick what works for you. It's like raising kids, for instance, before we had you guys, we were paying attention to what are other people doing, like family and
Mhm.
friends, how are they racing, and then some of the stuff it's like ew, other stuff it's like, oh, this is a really good idea, and it's like essentially you became our guinea pigs, but hey.
I mean,
You
aren't
turned
all kids just a guinea pig
Oh,
for
that is true.
behavioral therapy of some sort?
That is true. And it's like, speaking of growing up with us, well, you're still alive, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the bar. If we cleared that hurdle, so we're good.
Phew, phew, yay.
Next question.
I mean, how was it? Because it's like, when you guys were growing up, Dad was still active through the military, and so we moved a lot. Well, I mean, we were lucky, we were fairly stable. But I mean, we lived overseas, we went back to the States and all of those things. Is like, how let me think of a good question. How do you think that helped you or hurt you or I don't know. I mean it's a big part of your life. And a lot of stuff. I mean, I know you we learned a lot, with being in the military, moving, but it's like for you kids, how was that? As far as I mean, and I didn't know what was wrong with me at that time. That's a whole different story.
Right. No, that's a really, really interesting question. Because I think the other side of that too, that I think that gets lost in a lot of this conversation, especially today, is we just didn't have the language for it. We didn't have the knowledge 20, 30 years ago that we have today. I
Hmm.
mean, we see it constantly. Oh, autism rates are spiking. Diagnosis for ADHD is spiking. It's higher than ever before. Well, yeah, we've gotten better at identifying it because guess what? Turns out Grandpa Joe, who sits on his favorite chair every night watching the same reruns, probably had a little bit of the tism. He was probably on the spectrum to some degree. He
Right.
probably had some other, what we now today understand as, yeah, there was something to the point where it's in the DSM-5, but we didn't have that language then. So
Right.
I think growing up in the military, really having this plethora of experience as well as the ability to be as surprisingly stable as we were when we were in Germany, as far as like moving around goes, I think that was really a benefit because even with seeing other friends come and go, I was able to still make a lot of friends, but more importantly, I was able to see a lot of different personalities. I was able to be exposed to a lot of different types of people.
Hmm.
Yeah, they were all kids for the most part, but at the same time, that's kind of the core thing. Uh, just to bring it back to what I was saying earlier, it gave me that plethora of experience to draw from, that wide variety of personalities to really be able to see, oh, that's how this behavior works better. This is what works better. This is good. This, oh, that's not so good. Okay.
We're not
I
doing
don't
that
like
again.
that. Um, so I think broadly, like I benefited a lot from that, and then truly being able to see other countries, being able to explore like fully different locales to that extent really helped me grow into a person who is much more patient with other
What?
kinds of
What's
people.
patience, please?
Yeah, I don't know where I got it from.
Not me, because I spell patience N-O-W, so
Right. Uh, but yeah, I think without, I mean, truly, it's impossible to say how any other upbringing might have affected me because I just don't have that
right,
information.
right.
Um, but as far as how the upbringing has led me to where I'm at, I don't think I could have asked for a better path to get me to the place that I am.
I love that. Yay. No, this is good. So, what would you say to someone listening who feels too different to belong?
Well, so first thing, you are just a normal person. I hate to burst your special, unique bubble. We're all people. I have
Right.
to remind myself of that constantly. Again, the othering is so profoundly felt that, oh, I'm different. Yeah, you are. And also, there's 7, 8 billion other people.
And they're all different.
Exactly. So you're not that different. If every person's different from the next person, then we're all kind of the same in that regard. So
Hmm.
it's really just recognizing that as much as you may feel different, and this is me saying it as someone who has felt that different, that complete other feeling. Um, you're just a normal person. It's perfectly natural to feel like you are the only person in the world who feels a type of way, who has this feeling, who has had this experience.
Right. The
But
same will,
that's
different operating system.
exactly. But I think to the most important way and the most important tool that we have in breaking down that feeling is talking about those feelings with other people, finding the people in your life who have that feeling and seem to be making it work. Or even people who seem like they totally have it together. Maybe sit down with them, have that conversation, like, and
Hmm.
of course, preemptively, like, hey, I'm really wanting to have like a deep conversation about this. Do you mind if we like if I pick your brain a little bit? Like, let's sit down, treat them to coffee or something. But treat it like an interview in a weird way, but do it with someone that you trust, someone that you know, and someone that you get along with, because that is the way that you're going to be able to have that safe space in order to actually explore that feeling. Because that feeling of other is such a deeply ingrained human thing, because we are the only species on the planet that we know of and fully understand, well, not even fully understand,
I was going
but
to say we're so far from fully
as
understanding.
far as we
We have an
understand,
idea.
yeah, as far as we get, we are the only species to have this level of complex thought, because we're the only ones we are only able to understand our own language to this degree, and we have such a wide variety of language in which to explore these concepts.
Hmm.
But then
I
we
love
can
that.
look at like elephants, we can look at dolphins, we can look at octopi. They have their own thing going on. I mean, octopi, fully eldritch horrors. The reason that they haven't taken us over is because they only lived up to 5 years if
Oh,
they're
oh.
having a good time. But so we it's very easy for us to get lost in that, because we are the only that we are able to directly have this kind of conversation through
Right.
language and
And the
explore
thing
these
is
thoughts
like
so
you really
deeply.
are not alone. That's the thing.
Exactly.
You're not alone. There's others who feel the same way,
Hmm.
and it's just like, yeah, reach out to somebody. Just start talking to people. I mean, you're
Well,
not alone.
right. And I know that can be hard. It can be extremely difficult when you do feel that alone and when you do feel that deep sense of other. It's like, well,
Right.
who could I talk to? There's no one else who feels
Well,
like
there's a
this.
place, real quick. Home of Misfits group on Facebook. We have an open living room, the Home of Misfits open living room Facebook group.
There you
Come
go.
join us. You're
Shout it
welcome.
into a void, shout it into your community that you found.
Yeah, you're not alone.
That's exactly. It's one of the best things that social media has done. As much as I can't stand the modern trajectory of social media, one of the greatest things it's done is give people the capacity to see that there are other people
Right.
who feel that deep sense of other, that
Yep.
deep sense of I'm the only person in the world like me.
And
Yes,
you are
and there
you're
are others
awesome,
who
and
feel
because you are
like that.
unique. Unique is
Right.
not wrong. Unique is not flawed. Unique is not, it's awesome. So,
Exactly.
so when the world feels loud or overwhelming, what helps you reset?
Fully depends on which part feels loud and overwhelming.
Do you have
I've
like a
been
go-to that
yeah,
you know?
I've actually been finding recently. I mean, outside of D&D, because I've really built my life in a regular routine of like, all right, cool. I burn my social battery and then we recharge it and then but but no, if I'm like fully burnt out, if I fully need to disengage, um, then a lot of my go-to are like single player video games,
Mm,
RPGs. How do I get lost in a story? And RPGs are one of my favorite ways of doing that. But also sometimes a good comfort watch. Like I've every now and then, one of my favorites is Community. It's an older-ish single cam sitcom, but the whole premise is a bunch of people are going to community college, ragtag, mismatched group of demographics. They meet for Spanish study group, and the show takes off. But
mm,
the whole thing is just this hyper self aware meta look at what makes a sitcom funny. Why
Mhm.
are sitcom formulas so formula? Like, why do they work so well? And then using that same formula in instead of multicam classic sitcom like Friends or Big Bang Theory, it's doing all of that in a single cam, more like Scrubs. So there is none of that laugh track or stage feel. It's very much this is happening. But it's just a really goofy, funny, uh, filled with wordplay, visual gags, and just a classic rewatch.
Nice.
But yeah, it's really just controlling my environment in a way that I can, all right, this is the safe area. We can do this here and then recharge however I need to.
Hmm. Well, what helps me is like meditate, but I don't meditate in the traditional sense. It's
Hmm.
just like just focus on breathing and it's like becoming present in the now.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and I cannot wait until I can get to it again, is be out in nature.
Hmm.
Just be out in nature and just be. That helps me.
Yeah.
So
No, I
it's
love
it's
that.
it's good stuff. What else would you like to share with our audience about being different and being a misfit and just being awesome? 'Cause I think
Well,
all misfits are awesome. I mean, we're all misfits, so we're all awesome.
exactly. Uh, yeah, no, I don't know if I necessarily have anything tied to being a misfit or feeling like a misfit really to add other than just takes like just really harping on that take time to think about yourself. What is it that makes you happy? What gives you the good feeling?
Hmm.
Of course, as all things go with being a person, as long as those things that make you feel good don't make others feel bad.
Oh,
That's
of
really
course. That
that's
goes, I
really
mean,
the
to me, that
goal.
goes without saying.
You'd think,
I know,
right?
I know. Golden rule and
But we
all.
live in a world today.
Right.
But no, that's really what it comes down to. At least in my life, is really understanding what brings me joy, what what allows me to fully express myself in a way that lets my vision come out.
Oh, I love
And
that.
right now, the way that that manifests is by having a wonderfully incredible group of people that I get to be partnered with through SpaceFarm Media. Um, Being able to actually move forward, generating a revenue through this endeavor. That way, we can actually fund our Dungeons and Dragons content. So if you or anyone out there is interested, make sure to follow us on spacefarm.music at Instagram or at spacefarm.music on Instagram. And that's where we'll be posting and having upcoming information as we start to really dive in, more than likely sometime this summer.
I love it. So, hey, I have to ask because I love dragons and unicorns and rainbows and all of that good stuff. Tell You have your dragon on your microphone, and I've been looking at it, like, and it's like it's smiling at me. It's so happy. Tell us a little bit about your dragon. I mean, for our viewers that are watching this, and then also for our listeners, it's like he has a dragon on
Yeah,
his microphone, and it's so
absolutely.
stinking cute.
Yeah, so this little guy is Aurelius. He is a little black, uh, made of like hard silicone rubber. But he came home with me from the Renaissance Fair this
Oh,
last
nice.
year, and he's got a nice little set of segmented armor here along his back, just to keep his back safe. But yeah, he's just a sweet little guy, and he decided he really wants to be involved when I'm playing games. So I have him here on my microphone. He likes to
Too
hang
cute.
out, and yeah, eventually I'll be doing video game streaming. Sometime I'll get to that between all my other special interests. But hopefully Aurelius doesn't go away and he continues to hang out. But yeah,
Oh, I
he's just
think
my
he
little
will.
friend.
He's just happy to be there. I mean, he's so cute. So anyway, if people want to get a hold of you, reach out to you, hire you? What's the best way?
Yeah. If you have any questions about who we are or really want to like actually engage with us for like formal work, go ahead and email us at spacefarmmusic@gmail.com. Pretty much exactly like it sounds. All the words are there. And then if you just want to kind of see what some of the work we have done, or you want to get in touch on a more casual level, go ahead and reach out to us on Instagram at spacefarm.music. And we're more than happy to have a conversation, chat with you. It's myself and then my partner, Jake McAllister, and we'll be the ones who you end up talking to.
So Jake from Space Farm.
You got it. That,
I had to throw that in because I just so love it.
hey, we have the name because of it, so it works out.
That is awesome. Thank you, Tim, so much for being part of this, for talking to us. And hey, all you guys out there listening, watching, it's like you are never alone. We are here for you. Join us in the Facebook group, and just reach out. You don't want to reach out to us, reach out to somebody, because it's awesome. Life is so good. Life is so good. And you're awesome. And we're looking forward to chatting with you next week. So until then, you guys have a good one, and don't get caught. That's what I always tell people. Have fun in what you do. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Home of Misfits by Matters of Perspective. You belong.